President.
Senator from Hawaii.
Mr. President, as the author of this bill, I totally disagree with characterizing this bill as a bitter partisan beginning, as having a bitter partisan beginning. But my colleague is exercising his free speech rights, so there you go. Mr. President, after 2 weeks of hard work and bipartisan collaboration, the United States Senate is poised to take real action to confront the wave of anti-Asian hate sweeping our country. Although we still have some damaging amendments to defeat, I am confident that in a few hours, the Senate will pass the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act as amended with the substitute Hirono-Collins amendment. By doing so, we will send a powerful message of solidarity to the AAPI community that the Senate will not be a bystander as anti-Asian violence surges in our country. Over the past years, hate crimes targeting AAPI has risen 150%, as noted. More than 3,800 incidents have been reported across all 50 states and the District of Columbia. These statistics paint a disturbing picture of what's happening in our country, but they only quantify part of the problem. Why? Because hate crimes and other incidents are notoriously underrepresented. These attacks have not ceased in the 2 weeks since the Senate began debating this bill. Last Sunday, an 80-year-old woman and her 79-year-old husband, both of Korean descent, were taking an evening walk in a local park near their home in Southern California. Suddenly, without warning, an assailant approached the couple and punched them in their faces. That same assailant is also suspected of threatening Sakura Kokumai, a Japanese-American Olympic karate athlete who incidentally was born in Hawaii. These unprovoked random attacks and incidents are happening in supermarkets, on our streets, in takeout restaurants, basically wherever we are. These disturbing and horrifying attacks are in many ways a predictable and foreseeable consequence of the use of racist and inflammatory language like Chinese virus or Kung flu to describe the pandemic. I have been heartened by the steps President Biden has taken to denounce this language and confront this epidemic of hate. Under his leadership, the executive branch is doing its part. And in a few short hours, Congress will do ours by passing the COVID-19 Hate Crimes Act. Mr. President, this is not a controversial bill. It focuses federal leadership to investigate and report hate crimes and other incidents, and provides resources for our communities to come together to take a stand against intolerance and hate. Over the past 2 weeks, I've worked with senators in both parties to make changes that broaden support for this bill while retaining its original purpose. In particular, I want to acknowledge and thank Senator Collins for her good faith efforts to amend this bill and build support for it in the Republican caucus. I also want to thank Senator Duckworth for her leadership on this issue. Senators Blumenthal and Moran, whose No Hate Act is now included in our legislation, and Senators Warnock and Grassley, who contributed important findings to this bill. This moment would not have been possible without the determined efforts of Leader Schumer and Chairman Durbin, and the excellent work of my friend and colleagues in the House, Congresswoman Grace Meng. Mr. President, I am grateful that the Senate will soon be taking action to confront anti-Asian hate in our country, but ours is not the only community suffering right now. Earlier this week, a jury in Minneapolis delivered justice and accountability for the murder of George Floyd. But make no mistake, one conviction cannot and will not erase the enduring legacy of systemic racism and disparate policing in our country. It is my sincere hope that we can channel and sustain the bipartisan work done on this important piece of legislation into debating and passing the George Floyd Justice in Policing Act. And I understand that bipartisan talks are underway. We are in this together. We are in this together. Senator Collins, I really appreciate your work on this bill. We would not be here without your support. Mr. President, I yield the floor.